They told you silver was boring, slow, something old people stored away and forgot about. But what if the greatest wealth opportunity of this decade is quietly forming right in front of us? Not in stocks, not in hype, but in real metal with real value. Because while the world chases fast money, the smart quietly build lasting freedom, and silver is doing exactly that right now. I once watched people panic as markets crashed and savings disappeared, but one man I knew stayed calm and kept buying silver every single month. Small amounts, no stress, no excitement, just discipline. And years later, while inflation crushed everyone else, his silver protected his future and gave him options. Not overnight riches, but something better: control. Silver is not just a metal, it is patience turned into wealth, discipline turned into security. Because the world now depends on silver for solar panels, electric cars, medical technology, and electronics, demand is exploding while supply is shrinking. And whenever scarcity meets necessity, wealth always follows. Most people run when prices drop, but successful investors lean in because every dip is a discount on future freedom. And I have seen young people skip luxury lifestyles and stack silver instead, only to later use those holdings to build businesses, buy homes, and escape financial stress, not because of luck, but because of strategy. Wealth is not built in excitement, it is built in consistency, 1 ounce at a time, one smart habit at a time. And when you stop thinking in weeks and start thinking in years, silver becomes a tool for lifelong freedom instead of a short-term trade. History has proven again and again that currencies weaken, markets shake, and empires fall, but precious metals remain, and those who hold them stay calm when chaos comes, because they own real value that cannot be printed away. Imagine looking back years from now knowing you stacked silver when it was affordable, while the world rushed in too late, because generational wealth always starts quietly, with people who act when opportunity whispers instead of screams. You don't need to be rich to start, you just need discipline, because silver rewards consistency, not status. And while others scroll and complain, you can build ownership, assets, and security for your future. This moment is not about fear, it's about positioning, choosing long-term wealth over short-term comfort, becoming the person who took action early, because silver is whispering right now, and those who listen will lead tomorrow. If this message inspired you to think bigger about your money and your future, make sure you like this video, subscribe for more wealth-building insights, and share it with someone who needs to hear this today, because opportunities like silver don't stay quiet forever. They told you silver was boring, slow, something old people stored away and forgot about. But what if the greatest wealth opportunity of this decade is quietly forming right in front of us? Not in stocks, not in hype, but in real metal with real value. Because while the world chases fast money, the smart quietly build lasting freedom, and silver is doing exactly that right now, moving beneath the noise. Ignored by crowds, but noticed by those who understand how real wealth is created through patience, vision, and consistency. The same way fortunes were built in every generation by people who saw opportunity before it became obvious. I once watched people panic as markets crashed and savings disappeared, headlines screaming fear while families worried about their future. But one man I knew stayed calm and kept buying silver every single month. Small amounts, no stress, no excitement, just discipline, while others sold in fear. He quietly accumulated value, believing in long-term fundamentals instead of short-term emotion, and years later when inflation exploded and prices rose everywhere, his silver protected his future and gave him options. Not overnight riches, but something far more powerful. Peace of mind, stability, and freedom to make choices without fear. That moment changed how I saw money forever, because I realized wealth is not built by chasing what is popular, it is built by owning what is essential, and silver is becoming more essential every day. As the world moves toward technology, clean energy, and innovation, flowing through solar panels, electric vehicles, medical devices, and electronics, quietly powering the future while remaining one of the most undervalued assets in the market. And when something is both necessary and scarce, history shows it never stays cheap for long. While most people wait for proof, successful investors move on preparation, because they understand that by the time everyone believes, the opportunity is already gone. And silver right now is in that quiet phase where smart money positions early, knowing that patience today creates freedom tomorrow. Most people run when prices drop because they are trained to fear red numbers and negative headlines, but successful investors lean in during those moments because they understand that every dip is simply a discount on future freedom. And silver has rewarded those who stayed calm through every cycle of fear, turning temporary drops into long-term opportunity for those with vision and discipline. I have seen young people who chose not to spend on flashy cars, expensive clothes, and short-term pleasures, and instead quietly stacked silver month after month while their friends laughed and called it boring. But years later, those same stacks became down payments for homes, startup capital for businesses, and financial breathing room when times got hard, not through luck, but through consistent, smart decisions. Wealth is rarely built in big, dramatic moves. It is built in small habits repeated over time, buying a little even when it feels slow, holding even when others panic, trusting fundamentals instead of emotions. Because silver is not about gambling. It is about positioning yourself where value naturally grows as the world's demand rises and supply tightens. When you treat silver as a long-term wealth tool instead of a quick trade, you stop stressing about daily price swings and start building real ownership, real assets, and real financial strength that compounds quietly in the background. Silver is not just a metal, it is a tool for freedom, a way to turn patience and discipline into lasting wealth. And the people who understand this see opportunity while others are distracted by noise and hype, and quietly positioning themselves for a future where scarcity meets necessity and value rises naturally. I've seen ordinary people transform their lives simply by making consistent, small investments in silver over time, skipping short-term pleasures to secure long-term stability, and those small decisions compounded into real financial power, giving them options, choices, and freedom that money alone cannot buy, because true wealth is not measured by what you spend, but by what you own. When the world panics, silver holders stay calm, not because they are lucky, but because they understand history, cycles, and fundamentals, using each downturn as a chance to accumulate more, knowing that the quiet, patient investor is always the one who benefits the most when the market awakens and opportunity becomes obvious.